What's up, film family? Welcome to the Film Room Podcast. My name is Scott,
My name's Dion.
and today we're talking about the brand new Frankenstein movie directed by Guillermo Del Toro, starring Oscar Isaac, Jacob Elordi, Mia Goth, Christoph Waltz. We're going to be giving our thoughts on the movie. We're going to get some listener opinions, and we're going to finish the episode with our Filmmies, which is our award show that we do at the end of every episode. But before we get into all of that, we always start with our general thoughts. General
General
thoughts.
thoughts.
Dion, what did you think of Frankenstein?
I thought it was great. I really enjoyed the visual aesthetic of it. I liked the story, and like the story structure was different. Just like how they kind of brought us at the end, and then we kind of like got a little more of the background of it. Yeah, but what about you though? I have a couple things. Obviously, I really liked it. But what was your
Yeah,
thoughts on
I
it?
I thought it was okay. I didn't
Hmm.
love it. I didn't hate it. There was
Okay.
some stuff I liked, some stuff I didn't. You mentioned the
Yeah.
story structure. I liked that. I thought that was interesting. It was more emotional than I expected.
Hmm.
I was
Yeah.
and less horror. It's
Hmm.
I thought it was under the horror genre, but I've also seen it under the drama genre, which
Yeah.
I feel like it's more of a drama. There's not really a lot of horror aspects to it.
Hmm.
And I mean, we've talked about this here and there about like
Yeah.
what that means, and really it doesn't matter. But overall, it was not bad.
Okay. Yeah. Do you have any specific I mean, obviously we're gonna in the deep dive, we're gonna go more into it, but just like a specific thing that makes it
I guess there's a section like the Victor section. I
okay.
thought was a little long. I thought that was longer than it needed
Okay.
to be. So that's
Okay.
I thought it started hot, and then I thought it kind of
Hmm.
slowed down, got bogged down a little bit in his section, and then I thought the creature section was pretty good. But yeah, so I think kind of in the middle it kind of dipped down for me a little bit.
Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, I want to hear more about what you have to say about that. I also liked to me one thing that I also enjoyed too was like the kind of like the lore blend of what they did with because I haven't read the book, but I'm familiar with the book, and I kind of like research a little bit more just to kind of get to see like what because I've seen the original Frankenstein, and I kind of just obviously know the lore of Frankenstein, what they kind of did with it. So even when I saw like the trailers for it, I'm like, oh, this looks kind of different. I wonder if maybe this is like what the book was like, and apparently it is like a it's kind of like a blend. I'll get more into it as we get into our deep dive, but that interested me more as I researched more like on the book, and then just kind of like the whole lore of it. But we can get more into that. But
Yeah, I'm interested to hear
yeah.
about that, to be honest, because I haven't read the book. I haven't really. I mean, I know the general lore of Frankenstein just
Hmm.
from everybody knows it. They
Yeah.
put body parts together and animate this person. But
Yeah.
as far as like the story, I don't really know anything about it. Like once
Okay.
the
Yeah.
monster is animated, but I've seen like versions where it's a monster and everyone's scared of them, and then they have the pitchforks and the
Yeah.
and the the burning sticks, and they're just trying to kill the monster. That's not what happens here. It's completely different. So like what happens in the book, I really didn't know. So I'm interested to talk about that, hear what you have to say in there.
Yeah, for sure. I got a lot of stuff about it because yeah, I got a lot of stuff about it. So we'll get more into that later. But
All
before we
right.
get into all that, I think you know what we gotta do. We gotta hear from the family.
We got to hear from the film family. Let's get into the family meeting.
Let's get into
I
it.
don't have friends. I got family.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the family meeting. This is where we get your thoughts on the movie. This is a new release, so it's always a little bit different. Sometimes you don't get your thought on the movie specifically, but on the Instagram story, I asked the question, what is it? Are you excited for this movie? What's your level of excitement for this movie? We I put a poll, and there was actually 0% that said this looks amazing. This looks awesome.
Mm,
People weren't like super high on it.
okay.
And other than that, we got 50-50. Some said we might have something here, like I'm interested. And
Yeah.
then another 50% said another monster movie. They're not into all the monster movies. We've got
Mm,
Wolfman, we've got a lot of vampire stories. Now we're
yeah.
getting Frankenstein. What were your expectations going into the movie?
I've been excited for it mostly because the director
Hmm.
and just like with him being like kind of like a legendary director, and like him having like different takes. Like a couple years ago, he did like a Pinocchio movie, which I haven't seen actually, but Eloise saw it, and she said it was really good. And just I haven't seen Pan's Labyrinth either, but everyone loves that movie.
Mhm.
I've seen Hellboy. He did the second Blade movie, but like all of his movies have like this definitely is a specific kind of like tone. His movies are always like different. So I was just interested to see like what his take was going to be. And there's a lot of like really established actors in this movie too. So that also made me interested. And just curious to see what like a modern day like Frankenstein movie could be. Like
Right.
it looked really cool in the trailer too. So I was pretty excited for it. I wanted to see it at TIFF, but the certain movies are just like you just know there's not a chance you're gonna see because like
Yeah.
everybody wants to see it, especially if there's a big director attached. You're like, yeah, good luck
Mhm.
finding tickets for that.
Yeah, and like you said, a good cast. Oscar Isaac's pretty hot. Jacob Elordi's young and up and coming. He
Yeah,
kind of blew up on Euphoria.
yeah,
Christoph Waltz is a big name, and like you said, the
yeah.
director as well. I was excited for it too. I think the trailer was the biggest thing for me. I'm a big trailer guy.
Mhm.
I like to I put a lot of weight into a trailer. If I think it looks
Yeah,
good, I'm in. If I don't think it looks good, I wouldn't say I'm out like right away. If the
yeah.
trailer doesn't look good, depends on who's in it, the premise. If the premise still interests me, I'm still down for it. But this one, I think, like you said, the just a modern version of Frankenstein interested me. The character and the story is classic, so I was just interested to see where it went. But the film family wasn't so excited on it. That's interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting. I mean, like, yeah, it looks maybe to like to a certain. I mean, you never really know. I I always try to break this down. We always try to like analyze sometimes the polls, but sometimes maybe it's just how they're feeling that day or whatever. Maybe some
Yeah,
people that were interested just didn't see the poll. You know what I mean?
true.
So like, really just comes down to that. But from what we saw, hey, the people that voted, they were like, we're not
Yeah,
feeling it as much.
yeah, I guess. But you had someone that a couple thoughts
Yeah,
you got?
I got two thought additions to the family meeting. We got Eloise, the aka the producer,
Mm,
and we're big Mia Goth fans in this household. We're Mia Goth stands, and she was
nice.
just like her comment was more on the wardrobe. She said like she really loved how Mia Goth's character exclusively wore like jewel tones, like with like mimicked like the color of bugs. So I don't know if you kind of noticed like kind of her
Oh yeah,
beetle kind of look that she had because her character was into like bugs and stuff like that,
right.
and all of her outfits kind of had like that kind of look. She said like her yellow dresses matched the butterfly, the green one matched the beetle, and she said it just made her character like really stand out because a lot of the like, women that you see in the movie were kind of just wearing just like kind of neutral colors, but her character was always wearing like these bright, elaborate outfits, and she just like really liked how they that approach to her character just in the wardrobe aspect.
Yeah, the most of the other women were just like servants, or
Yeah.
yeah, there really weren't any other major female characters in the movie. But I mean, that's a really good point. I didn't think of the connection to the bugs. I noticed obviously her outfits were very loud. Like she's a rich
Mhm.
person, so at that time, like
Yeah.
she has these massive dresses with bright colors and everything. I'm interested. Did she give you like a fit check? Was one of those would have been her fit
Yeah,
check?
she did give a fit check, but I won't say it because we had the same fit check,
Okay,
which I
okay.
guess I
So we'll
didn't
hold
have
on
to
to it.
say. I didn't have to say,
That's
but
true.
it's we agreed on the same fit check. I at first I was like, I don't know if that's the one as the movie went forward. I was like, I kind of like this one, and then I went back. I was like, yeah, no, that's the fit. Yeah, that's we're gonna
Mm,
go with that one.
maybe I agreed too, and it's a triple certified.
Yeah, true. Maybe. The other one I have is from my buddy Alan, who's he had a couple takes. One of the first thing he said he's like I can see why Frankenstein had like a theatrical release. The cinematography was gorgeous as always. He says the opening scene was really intense, and he's like it's not on 70 millimeter, but it could have gave like a spectacle challenge to sinners because he really thought it was like, and I agree actually to like as I was watching, because I ended up just watching it at home, just the
Hmm.
way the movie was shot and just like the what's it called, like the patience and just how much went into like you could tell with like the lighting and stuff like that. A lot of like the natural lighting and just the way the movie was shot definitely could have been. It definitely makes sense of it being like a massive scale theatrical kind of release.
Yeah, that's scale. I think is the biggest thing that I noticed is just like how big the sets looked. Like when his
Hmm.
workshop in the tower is just this massive room with a huge hole in the middle. They got the giant
Yeah.
batteries on each side with the big window right at the front. So like we got a lot of wide shots of just the whole room with like, body parts laid around the place. And so, and the tower itself is massive.
Mm,
When we get into like his younger days and he's with his parents and they live in this massive castle with a big like courtyard and everything just
yeah,
looked big and huge. And like
yeah,
that, when we keep going back to the ship on the massive sheet of ice, like it's just a massive landscape with this horizon of ice and there's nothing but the ship in it. So like there was a lot of backed up wide shots with just
yeah.
massive scale that I really noticed that on like an IMAX screen. I don't know. Were you saying this was an IMAX? No way. I
No,
don't
he's
think
saying it
so.
wasn't. That's what he was saying.
Okay,
Like it
yeah.
didn't get an IMAX release, which he's saying he's like, I'm surprised it didn't. And I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
it's true. Like as I was
Yeah.
watching at home, I'm like, this feels just the way it's shot. It feels like a big screen experience kind of thing. But I guess Netflix didn't want to, because they didn't want to do it. Because like, nah, we don't want people to
True.
watch it on IMAX. We want them to watch it at home.
On Netflix. Yeah, that's a good
Yeah,
well,
exactly.
but I mean, if they shelled out the money for it, the box office money still goes to them, doesn't it?
No, I assume it does. I don't know about those technical deals and stuff like that,
Yeah.
but I think when it comes to like those big directors, because they don't always do this, but when they get big directors, I think their deal is with them. They're always like, okay, well, if I'm going to make you a movie, it's got to be in theaters because like I'm a theater director. You know what I mean? Like I want
Hmm.
my thing to be in the theaters, and I want to see my own movie on the big screen. I want people the opportunity, and they're like, I will give you a couple weeks, and then it's coming right back to
Yeah.
like Knives Out's been is I think is getting that same kind of has been getting that same approach like the sequels because like Ryan Johnson's like I want that. I think Fincher will probably get that too. Like when that Once Upon a Time in Hollywood sequel comes out, like it's a Netflix
Mm,
movie, but I'm sure he's gonna be like, hey, I want that to be in theaters, and then you
right.
can get it on your
I
because
don't
like
think he
that's they're
did
from
with
that
the
era.
killer though, actually.
It did, no, it did because I saw that
Oh,
in
was it in
theaters.
theaters? Oh,
Yeah, it
okay.
was in theaters, but it was a week.
Yeah, I was
They
gonna
gave
say I
you a
thought that was
week.
very short. Yeah,
It was a
one
very
weekend
short.
in theaters and then right onto
And
the
then they said
streaming
no.
service.
Exactly. This one got
I,
a pretty long though. This one was at least like 2 weeks, I
yeah,
think, 3.
yeah, 2 or 3 weeks. That just confuses me because I feel like if they shelled out the money for it, then the box office goes to them. So why wouldn't they want? I don't know.
Because
I
it
don't know
goes
the
against their whole
logistics.
stand, their whole thing that they want people to watch movies at home. They don't want people to go to the theaters.
Yeah, I guess. But yeah, I
But
guess because then
everyone's
if
shifting.
well, I was gonna say if you watch it on Netflix, then they can run the ads for it if you're on the ad
Yeah.
based subscription, and then maybe they get more money from that than the box office. Obviously, they know their business better than I do,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it's just interesting to me.
No, same. A lot of theaters, a lot of like even F1. F1's an Apple movie. They could have been like, this is going straight
Mm.
to, not to go too off topic, but it's still on the topic of it. Like, they could have went straight to Apple, but no, thank God they didn't. That deserved to be in a theater,
Oh hell yeah!
and
Well,
then you can
that's
go watch it
IMAX.
on, huh?
That's an
That's
IMAX.
different. Yeah, but that's not. Now we're talking about different streaming services.
True.
That's Netflix versus Apple. They had a maybe they don't care.
See, because if you're making this movie so it can live on your streaming platform, then people can't watch it in IMAX at home. Like no one has an IMAX
Yeah.
screen at home. So like
Mhm.
why I'm sure it's more expensive to shoot in IMAX. Like the cameras I'm
Yeah.
sure cost more and it's just more trouble logistically and everything. So is it worth shelling out more money to shoot it in an IMAX just so that people won't even have the opportunity to watch it in that if you're just putting it right on your streaming platform? So I don't know. I could see it both sides, I guess.
Yeah, I think when it comes down to, at least what I think, is that when a movie is in theaters, I think there's a little bit, and maybe that means a little less maybe for a younger generation, but like anybody like a little bit older, I feel like there's a little more prestige to it.
Yeah,
You
for
know what I
sure.
mean? If someone's like, "Oh, like you got to go see this movie," you hear it's strictly a streaming movie, you're kind of just like, "Okay, like I'll check it out later." But if it's like in theaters and everyone's talking about it, it's good, then I feel like you're more likely to believe like, "Oh, maybe it is really good." You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Because people are actually leaving their house to go see it, and they're saying it's good versus like people just flipping it on at home, and be like, and they can just like walk away and just turn it off. You know what I mean? They don't. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? It's just very like more passive.
Yeah, no, I think I don't even think it is a generational difference. I think it's just the what it is different in the sense of it wouldn't be straight to Netflix or straight to Apple. It was straight to DVD. Like those
Yeah.
were a thing for a long time, right? You'd have
Oh yeah.
movies and
hundred
they just go
percent.
right. You see them in Walmart in the entertainment section, and that's it. It never gets a theater run. So now it's the same idea, but instead of straight to DVD, it's just straight to streaming.
Yeah, and at least for me, I always feel that way. If people tell me like, "Yo, this new movie is good," and it just goes straight to Netflix, and it has never has a theater run, I'm always kind of a little hesitant. I'm like they didn't have that much faith in it to throw it in like at least for a
Mm,
week or two. Like I don't know.
yeah. No, I totally I agree with you. It's just a matter of
Yeah,
like why do we actually feel like
yeah, I
that?
don't
Is it
know
a faith
because what
thing?
we're used to.
Yeah.
Because I think there's a little bit of that streaming thing feels like a straight to DVD because
Hmm.
we grew up in a straight like when movies that didn't go to theaters and there's just like yes, movie's really good. It's only went straight to DVD. Like that still kind of feels that way where it's just like oh, just went straight to Netflix or just went
Yeah.
straight to the streaming service. I'm like, all right,
Yeesh.
maybe
That's
yeah. It's like did they not have that much faith in it? I guess like that's just how I feel about it.
yeah. No, I totally agree with you. That's
All it
funny.
takes is a week. How goofy is that? They could be in
Exactly.
theaters for a week, and suddenly I'm like, okay, all right,
Oh yeah, it's a
maybe
great
this
movie. It
popping, yeah.
must be good. Yeah, they put it in theaters. They put it in two theaters for a week. It's got to be fantastic. That's funny. I do agree with your friend Alan
Alan?
about yeah, like the opening scene. Like I mentioned in general thoughts, but like this movie started out hot. Like
Oh
the
yeah,
I didn't expect to see the monster so soon. For
mm,
one, like there's the explosion, the they go out to see him. We find Frankenstein. Like, there's a man here and he's hurt, and they pull him in, and it's Oscar Isaac. I was like, what the hell? That's him right away. That's what is he doing out there? And I mean, that's right. That's the whole point of the mystery is like, why are we here?
yeah,
And then the monster's
mm,
coming. He's pushing on the boat. He's breaking people's limbs, throwing them off. Like the actions was pretty freaking brutal and just
yeah,
intense right off the bat.
yeah. No, 100%. Like it really showed the strength and durability of because you question it's like okay well we know this guy's like super strong but like this like really set the tone of like you just throwing people I think like he punched a dude's head off
Mm,
like and he just folded I'm just like okay like man's pushing the boat and
yeah.
I was like okay like this is not they're letting us know this is not just a guy that's like because I think in the original one, I remember they're like he's got the strength of 10 men, or like he's really strong. Like he was kind of just like pushing people around. Like maybe like three people try to get at him, and he just like fight back. Like he's just like a big, strong guy. Basically, this guy, this is almost supernatural, like some
Yeah.
superhero
Yeah, I
type shit.
wonder how exactly. I mean, how I was gonna say how exactly that works. It's a fictional
Yeah,
creature, but like the super strength, does it come from? I guess just his. I mean, he can't die either. I guess it's just I don't know. I
yeah,
don't know why I'm trying to explain this thing that just doesn't exist. But I didn't know that he
yeah.
was that strong.
I
I
mean,
guess you could
to
choose
be
whatever you
honest,
want.
yeah, no, from the movies I've seen, because there's been so many like different like remakes and stuff of it. Like I've never seen him this strong. I haven't seen every single Frankenstein cover, but like the ones I've seen, he's never been this strong. He's been strong, but when I saw, that's why I think the opening scene is so crazy too. Because anyone that's even maybe a little bit familiar, or even if you're not, you're like, oh, this is what the Frankenstein is. Like I thought
Yeah,
it was just a guy that got brought back to life. I thought he was just a human, well,
yeah.
like quote unquote human.
Right. Yeah. And we see it a bunch of times. Like when he fights those wolves in that barn and he's
Oh
just
my
like
goodness.
scalps the wolf. He's just breaking them in half. And like, yo, this guy's insane.
Absolutely insane. That was another point too. Like another point of Alan's points too. He's thought that like the utilization of like the gore in this movie was
Hmm.
like really. I think obviously it was intentional, just how brutal it was, and in the sense of like it became like very like clinical in some places. Like when he was just like cutting and stuff like that, and it wasn't really over the top. It was just straight up gross. Like I'm just cutting this arm off, ripping this off, and it's just like here, plop that onto here, and like he's saying like the scalping. Like he could have just done like a thing where he's just like, let me just like attack this werewolf, just crack its neck or something, throw it to the side. Just the decision to like, yeah, to scalp it is just like,
Oh
oh,
my God. Brutal. But hey, they were
that's
attacking
the
his
horror he
boy.
leaned into. He just leaned into gross horror, really,
True.
not really like jump scare horror.
That's true. I guess, yeah, like I'm me as the horror noob. Like when I hear horror, that's kind of just what I
Jump
attach it to is
scares.
just, yeah, jump scares. But you're right. Like honestly, even when Victor is like cutting body parts and assembling and
Mm,
like he's just got an open hand and he's just like pulling on the tendons of the hand. Like
yeah.
it's not even shot in a way that's supposed to be like, look at how crazy this is. but that's almost what makes it so horrific. Is just like, look how normal it is that this guy's just like installing bones into a
Yeah.
cadaver right now, and like that stuff is just, it's so gross, but it just was shot so normal that it kind of makes it even more like creepy and weird.
Oh yeah, and that's what I I give like the. Cause I think I've watched like enough horror movies where like when I was first got into horror movies too, I felt the exact same way. I was like, oh, it's not really a horror movie. Like I feel like it wasn't that scary. It didn't have like the jump scares. But like as you keep watching and watching, and you're seeing this too, as you keep watching more different like horror movies, you'll see and you'll be like, okay, like that one wasn't that scary. It was just like it would seem like more of a drama, or if it was kind of just more gross. But I'm like, that's what it is in the genre. You know what I mean? Like I always compare it to rap music because I feel like it's a perfect balance of just like if someone was like, man, was that really a rap song though? Like they didn't rap about like bitches and money and stuff like that. I'm like, that's not all rap songs though. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Some of them are like are soft rap. Some of them are just like more like educational. Some of them are just like upbeat. Some of them are they're all over the place, but it's all still rap. It's all still in that umbrella. It doesn't have to be this because like no, that's rap music. No, it's like it's so open, and that's how I feel horror is. There's just so many different elements. Like there's body horror, there's jump scare horror, there's just like this is just disgusting horror. This is just like there's all these different levels to it. This is like a
yeah.
gothic horror, which is like this is kind of like Robert Eggers' kind of wheelhouse that he's been living in with
Mm,
Nosferatu and like the Lighthouse and what's it called, the Northman. Like he's just staying, and he's making a werewolf movie next year. I'm sure it's gonna
right.
feel just like this, old timey and like brutal and
Yeah,
gruesome.
I don't think Robert Eggers has ever made a current movie. I'm pretty sure
No,
I heard him say like he just doesn't want to. I can't remember
yeah,
why.
I think he did say that. Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know. I feel like he's just so infatuated by old time stuff. I don't know why. He's just that folklore and stuff like that, which is fine. It's the
yeah.
same. Like you could say the same about the guy that wrote all like the Game of Thrones books and stuff like that. He doesn't want to write anything in this time period. He
Mm.
just wants to write old timey stuff. That's just what he's into.
Yeah, no, it's not an issue by any means. It's
No,
just
no, no.
curious that
I
someone
was just
like,
making the comparison.
yeah, attaches themselves to that like unwaveringly, like will not at all come up with a story in present day. Because I mean, there's a bunch of filmmakers that would do the opposite. Like they make present stuff and they don't make any period pieces. So I guess it's kind of the
True.
same thing. But yeah, the gore and horror stuff. Yeah, it's a good point. Like the horror is such a broad genre that I just
Mm.
avoided for so long that I just don't know a lot of that, like the diversity of it. But stuff like this, I thought, yeah, it was like kind of creepy and weird and gross, but like, I don't know, I kind of liked it.
Yeah. No, it's definitely it was definitely unique in that it's but I mean I shouldn't say unique in like they don't make movies like this, but maybe more so like in this era. Like we've been a lot of stuff we've been getting they'll jump to like maybe like the 80s and stuff like that. But I mean Sinners for at least within this year did like a big like time jump and like went backwards. This movie went even further back. I think
Yeah.
that was I think it was 1800s, right?
Yeah.
From where in this
1850s or
movie.
something. That's when the
Yeah,
war
so I got to
that they're building the story around happens. 1857.
okay, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I actually didn't have it written down or anything, but
Yeah, I just have it in front of me here. So I wanted to ask you. I mean, we talked about the story structure vaguely,
mm,
in the
yeah,
general thoughts,
general.
but so just I guess more specifically, what did you think of the story structure? Not necessarily just the Victor story, creature story, prelude, that kind of stuff, but even just the fact that the entire movie is happening like within this frozen ship thing, and then
Mhm.
it's told through flashlight. Like we keep coming back to this frozen ship. I thought that was an interesting way to tell the story.
Yeah, no, same. Like when the movie first started, I was kind of confused because I was like, oh, okay, like I was like, we're gonna have to have some kind of time jump because I was like, Frankenstein's already like up and going and moving, and he's
Right.
talking too, which
Yeah.
is like also like another different thing. Which again, I teased it early, and I'll get more into the him even like him talking because in a lot of I'm sure what even if you were familiar with, like Frankenstein was just like
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
like not saying anything. So the fact that like we got Frankenstein with the long hair, he's got the locks, and he's talking, and he's already like attacking people. I was like, okay, I don't know where we're going here. But then as we get the time jump, I was interested to see, okay, So this is what we're doing. I didn't expect to get the creature POV. So that was like another shock to me, and I thought that was really interesting.
Same, yeah. No, when because it starts with prelude. We learn about Victor's childhood and stuff, and then it's like Victor's story. Well, I guess the prelude is the ship actually. Then we get Victor's story,
Oh yeah,
and then
true.
after
Yeah.
that, it's kind of like who else's story would we get? Like, I guess it
Yeah.
could have been like Elizabeth's, but like what she's doing outside of the tower and like around Victor, I don't really care.
Yeah.
So I don't, yeah, I didn't know what the next like iteration or part of the story would be. Did not expect to get the creature side of the story, so that was actually pretty cool. I think I liked the metaphor almost of the sailors and the ship itself. Like I feel like it kind of embodied Victor and the creature as well.
Hmm.
The sailors, the crew, they all want to leave, right? They're like, we're fucking dying out here. We're just brutal. We're just stuck in this ice. We can't go anywhere. So they are like, we gotta abandon this mission and go home. We've been away for God knows how long. Kind of like that humanity and
Yeah.
empathy kind of feel that the
Hmm.
monster or the creature embodies. And then the captain that's like, nope, we signed up for a mission. We're completing the mission. Doesn't matter. Like, yes, this creature just killed 6 of our guys. Doesn't matter. We're gonna keep going. And that's Victor, right? He's like,
Yeah.
I don't care about the soul of the creature. I don't care about all the people that I'm the ethics of this. It can
Yeah.
be people were talk about how just bad this is. Elizabeth's
Hmm.
always talk about what about the creature itself? How is he feeling? And he's like beating the creature, like very results driven. So I thought like that parallel to what the movie was built around with the ship and the ice was actually pretty cool.
Yeah. No, I agree. And what do you think of um just like Victor in general, just as a character? Like as we, because I thought it was pretty interesting, like how we got him from like start to finish. You know what I mean? Like I thought, at least the way I viewed it, like I felt like we were kind of on his side. You know what I mean? Like, because we're kind of watching through his POV. Like, as we're obviously we're getting his background story. It's like he's the guy who believes in this thing, and then immediately, I think it immediately makes you want to root for him because, like, hey, I've discovered this thing, and everyone's like, no, get out of here. Like, this is blasphemy. So you're like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
let's see if this guy can actually do it. I kind of want to see this guy prove them wrong. So you're almost kind of rooting for him in that sense. And then, but like as the movie progresses, he's disloyal to his brother. He's going after his wife, or soon to be wife, his fiance, and then he's just like disregarding like Harlan, who's paying for all of this stuff that he's doing it for him. It's just like this guy, you couldn't be able to doing this stuff if it wasn't for him. Like obviously, yeah, Harlan doesn't seem like the most like likable character. I mean, it's Waltz, it's Christoph Waltz, so he's just like this guy. He's got a charm to him. He's a
Yeah.
great actor, so you
Yeah.
almost want to like him just for that. But like the actual character himself is not really that likable. But you're like, this guy's paying for your stuff, and then just his mistreatment of the creature, who hasn't really done anything, but you just see him get more and more just like rude to the creature. So you're just kind of like, damn, I thought I was supposed to kind of like this guy, but he's just getting worse as the movie goes on. I'm curious what you thought. If you have that same kind of thought.
Yeah, I think that's interesting that you say you were rooting for him early on. I think he's kind of meant to be the villain start to finish.
Okay.
Like you're right in the first scene where he's like showing everybody in this trial or whatever it is,
Mhm.
the hearing where he's showing the like half. It's like a
The
just the
demonstration.
torso. Yeah, the
Yeah.
demonstration, I guess. And everyone's in the room is like, whoa, this is crazy. But then the people like leading the hearing are like, no, this is a problem. This is blasphemy. So he's already kind of a little bit the bad guy. And then when we get the face off with Elizabeth for the first time, they're eating lunch or whatever,
Yeah.
and then Harlan and William leave, and then they kind of have this face to face, and she's just like shitting on him.
Mhm.
She's like, you're selfish, egotistical. You talk about she has this metaphor about war, saying like
Yeah.
the ideas of people, but it leads to real people just getting hurt. So she is not messing with him at all, and
Yeah.
he's pretty arrogant, and then he like tries to trick her through this confessional booth,
Yeah,
and
which
like
is
you
pretty
say, he's
funny.
yeah,
When she
and
when
like you
she
say, what she knew. Did you knew
Yeah.
that she knew?
No, I didn't. And until it got closer to the end, I was like, and he's easy to spot. And I was like, oh snap. Like when she said that, I was like, oh dang. I think you got, bro.
Yeah. That was funny. You're right. I didn't know she knew too. I thought she was literally just like shitting on him to who she
Yeah,
thought
no, it
was
was
the
good.
father. Be like, yeah, his brother. He sucks. He's egotistical. He doesn't know what he's doing. Blah blah
But
blah. But
when you think about it though, like if you really think back to the scene, it almost makes sense because it's like he went into the confessional and like literally 2 seconds later she goes in. So it's
yeah,
almost like she would have saw him go in, and then it's like, why would she go in immediately at that point? Like someone came out, some guy went in, and she ran in. Like I don't know. When you think back to the scene, it's like, okay, yeah, it kind of made sense. It kind of made it seem like she was like, "All right, I'm gonna go mess with this guy."
yeah, yeah. Which was great. She was honestly she was a great character. She was like
Yeah.
morally on the high ground and like really really smart. But Victor overall, I thought was the bad. Like that's not a good guy. Doesn't do that. Doesn't sneak into a confessional and try and
No,
get
definitely not.
information on his brother's fiance that he's also trying to get with. Like he's not a good dude. And then the mistreatment of them. Like to me, throughout the whole story, he's the bad guy.
Yeah, no, I was just saying I agree with you, like especially at that point. But I was saying like more to the beginning. I was thinking, okay, I was more on his side, but like as the movie keeps going, it's like there's just multiple points of like you shouldn't like this guy because of this, you shouldn't like this guy because of
Mm.
this. I'm like, oh, okay, this guy's awful.
I guess
Because
one thing that would go to your argument at the start of the movie is when he gets found by the sailors and they bring him into the room and they're treating him, and then he tells her, he's like, how many men did that monster kill? And he said 6 of them,
Mhm.
and he said if he comes back or when he comes back, because they're like, no, he's under the ice, he's drowned, he's dead. He's like, no, he's coming back, and
Yeah.
when he does, give him to me or give me to him. Like I don't want any of your guys to die for me. So that
Mhm.
is something else that would make you like, okay, he's a good guy. He doesn't want anyone else to die for him. Like it's his fault that this whole thing's going on. And you can root for him in that sense.
Yeah. And to me, again, I guess it just happens if you're watching any kind of like reboot or remake, you always will kind of compare it to the one that you saw. And in the other ones, there was less sympathy. There's still a little bit of sympathy for Frankenstein, but there's more sympathy. Like no, there's just less sympathy for him. He's seen more. You see more of the rage. You don't see more of the soft sides. So as this movie was going on, I was already anticipating that Victor was gonna be. I didn't think he was gonna get that bad because he's not that bad in the original one.
Mm,
Like he's bad because he's still crazy and he's still like hyper obsessed with doing like that starts true is true, but there's no like disloyal to his brother and all that stuff. Like and even he's not even that mean to the creature like in the original one either. It's more of a, like his right hand man that's more of a jerk to it and calling him like
mm,
it and like whipping at him and stuff like that and calling him dumb. So that's why like as I was like, okay, I guess we're gonna be on Victor's because it's gonna be kind of like how they do it before. And I like how he made some changes in this movie where because it kept me on my toes. I'm like, okay, this isn't. I gotta take that last movie out of my mind. Like this is him doing his own thing. Like he's not just doing like a complete like remake and like oh, let's do all the same beats from the first movie. Like he definitely made it his own movie.
yeah, as you should, 100%. Like
Yeah, no, for
you,
sure.
because like you say, you'll have people that have seen it. Someone like you that if you're just seeing the same things, and what's the point of even doing this? And
Yeah.
this is a project that Guillermo, like I read about, this was in his mind for years and he was almost
Mhm.
scared to take it on. He was like chickening out from over and over.
Yeah.
And then he, I guess, finally maybe had his exact vision of what he wanted to do with it, worked for a long time, had actors attached. Actually, the main actors, Oscar Isaac and Christoph Waltz, I think were the same. Maybe even, I don't think Mia Goth, but Andrew Garfield was actually supposed to be the monster, and
Mhm.
but with schedule, I think it was, I don't know if it was the strike or some kind of scheduling conflict or whatever, he couldn't do it anymore, so it became Jacob Elordi. But I think that actually worked out, like him being so tall. There's even a line in the movie where he's like, no, I want the biggest limbs possible, it'll make it easier for, I don't know, construction or whatever. So
Yeah.
and just having the monster being tall, and obviously you could do, there's ways to like shoot it so that
Yeah.
it looks
Camera.
bigger than it is, but to actually have a really tall person, I think it just worked out.
No, for sure. Part of me was wondering. I was like, did they make him even taller too?
Hmm,
Because
maybe.
Mia Goth is like 5'10", and
Damn,
she
really?
looked tiny next. Yeah, she's tall.
Oh, I didn't know that. How tall is
So I
Jacob
was
Elordi?
like, I mean, the way he was towering over, I'm like, is he really like? like 6'5" or something, or is he? Do they put stilts?
I
I
mean,
don't
like we
know. Are you
said,
searching it up?
maybe yeah, I'm looking it up. I mean, maybe like we said, there's some um
Camera tricks.
6'5". Yeah, he's
Okay, so he's a
6'5".
pretty big guy.
So I knew he's tall. Like I'd seen him in some promo stuff or like on the red carpet next to Oscar Isaac, and like he's just towering over him. So I know he's really tall. But they probably did some camera tricks as well, or maybe some stuff in his boots or whatever if they wanted to make him even bigger than that. Because 6'5" is really big, but he looks like a 7-footer. It looks like Joel Embiid
Oh,
out
for
there.
sure. Yo, honestly, he look bad. I mean, 6'5" in Hollywood, especially, like that's you're massive. Most actors aren't that tall, so like I think that's another thing why he looks like such a giant. Because I can't even think that many tall actors.
Yeah, I
They're
have
like
no
like
idea.
we know of being like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's a tall actor. Like like
Honestly, I feel
Glenn
like there's more short
Powell.
actors.
That's what I'm saying. Like even our
Huh.
biggest, all our superheroes. I don't think any of those superheroes. Maybe Thor. Maybe Hemsworth. It's
Yeah, I think
tall.
Hemsworth's probably pretty tall. Chris Evans is maybe like above average. I don't think he's like massive.
I think they're just like 6 feet, which is again still tall, but we're not. It's not talking 6'5".
Say no.
I
No,
was
yeah,
just
that's a
like,
good point. Actually, I never really thought of it.
this
I
guy
guess
could be
that
my
kind of
leading
like,
guard on my team, man.
you could almost be your three, bro. You can have a 6'5"
Yeah,
shooting guard
that's what I'm
or a small
saying.
forward even. That's what I said 3 in shooting guard.
Yeah,
Now I
small
sound like a
forward.
bozo.
Yeah.
So Victor's story. So we've already kind of dabbled into it, but I mentioned I didn't love it. I thought it slowed down. I thought it was long. I thought like him and his love for Elizabeth felt kind of inconsequential. I mean, I guess it kind of leads into their conflict, just how they're very opposing forces. He doesn't care about the soul and the humanity of the creature. He's just looking for results. He's like, you're dumb. You can only say Victor. Hate you. She sees like an actual human side of a thing. So I guess it's those opposing forces. But I didn't love that. I didn't think it was that necessary. I think Harlander's storyline as well. I thought like, okay, he's paying for all this stuff, and all their back and forth is just like, I'm giving you this, so I want results and blah blah blah. Kind of
Mm,
showing I have the power over you. And then in the last 5 minutes, we learn that he has syphilis, wants to be like incorporated into the body, which was
yeah,
never part of this plan. How the hell was that?
yeah, I
That
know.
was never part of anything that we could put someone's brain or soul into the like transfer consciousness. That was never a thing. So that came out of left field. And then he just dies. And I was like, okay, I didn't like his storyline.
Yeah, which is fair, honestly. Like I like stepping back from it, and like obviously we're this is our deep dive into the movie, but like when as you think about it, like his character was important for like being the person to pay for the stuff, but like he
Mm-hmm.
didn't necessarily have to be in the storyline after that. In the sense of like he could have been like, I'm paying for your stuff, and then he could have just been off on the side, and then every now and then he could have been checking in to be like, oh, how things
Right.
going, and that could have been kind of it. Like his character, I guess the tie was that it was just Elizabeth's uncle, so that'd be like the reason for her to even be like invested in like, oh, what's going on? Where's my uncle? Like, because I mean, I'm sure you could find another way to tie it because she's marrying like Victor's
His
brother, so
brother.
there
Yeah,
could just be
exactly.
that reason for her to come over. But yeah, it just kind of felt like we got Christoph Waltz, and we got to get him in this movie as much as we can. Like,
Yeah, I mean, Christoph Waltz is a great actor. I'm never mad about
he
having him on
is.
screen, and it's
No,
not his
definitely not.
fault that the storyline fell flat for me. I think it was just a poor writing in that sense. But I think
Mhm.
you're right. It's a good point about like his niece, like Elizabeth being his niece. But at the same time, like when she comes back, when they come back, she's like, "I'm worried about my uncle. Where's my uncle?" And then he's like, "Oh, he's not here." And then she's like, "Okay," and that's it. And then he shows the dead body to his brother, and like, "Oh, don't tell Elizabeth." Okay, and like, just what did that do?
Yeah. No, that's fair. That yeah, specifically that part with the Victor stuff. I'm trying to think back, like what is there any part of it specifically that I mean, I guess the Harlan part like that is his story, but was there another part that you felt like maybe like, oh, we could have gotten that out? We didn't need that
Um,
aspect of his story.
Yeah, I mean, mostly Harlander didn't love. I think the some of the stuff with Elizabeth was kind of just unnecessary. Like when he's uh goes to like the hanging ceremony or whatever, and then he's like picking out
Mhm.
people. And he's like, "Oh, this is a strong back. I want this guy. Open your mouth. You're lucky you're getting hanged because you would have died in 6 months or whatever." Like that. I
Yeah.
thought that was good. But then he goes and sees her and follows her, and that's when they do the confession thing, and then they go and have lunch and like they dance together, and like it's just building on their bond and their relationship. They capture butterflies. I'm just like, why is this here?
I that one I'll disagree with. Like I feel like that's important because then it actually it ties into like when you see Victor and like he more of his disdain for the creature, because there was a point when he's just like, Victor, 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 all you say is Victor, can you say anything else? Say one more thing and I'll let you live. And then he says like Elizabeth,
Mm-hmm.
and then he just acts like he didn't hear that and then still burns him. And then even like later on, like when he shows up for the what's it called, he, like Elizabeth care, like Elizabeth turned him off, she's like, I'm not interested in you, but she cares so much about Frankenstein. And even like at the end, like near the end, like when he ends up shooting her, like part of me was also like, I don't know how much of that was an accident, because it's
I know. I
just
was
like,
thinking the
move
same
out of the
thing.
way.
Yeah.
And then he just shoots her. I'm like, what the hell? Like, dog, like shoot higher maybe or something, or like don't shoot.
Yeah, we
Like
know that gunshot, even if you hit the monster in the head, it's not doing anything. You know this. You made the
yeah.
monster. Why are you
Mhm.
shooting? I thought it was the same thing. I was like, he's killing her, but now that she's in the arms of the monster, now everybody runs in. He can blame it on the monster.
Yeah. And I think that's what like the little montage of them being together bonded up of like how much he likes her, and then in the end she pushed him aside and be like, no, I don't want to be with you. So then you know that like, okay, this guy really cares about her. Like we saw this whole montage, he's been obsessed with her, he's been telling his brother to stay back so he could spend time with her and all that stuff.
Mm,
And she likes the monster but she doesn't like him. So I feel like that works because we got to see how much he really cared about her,
that's fair.
and he was just
That's fair.
angry. And in the end, he killed her because he was like, "Screw you! You like that monster more than me."
Right. Yeah.
Without
No, that's a
saying it,
good
he
point.
did it.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think, I'll give you that. I think that her storyline does need to be there. I guess it's more just Harlander, and even maybe just building the monster. Maybe it's just Harlander, honestly, like what that you would cut out a little bit. Like I'm not saying you have to take out, cut his storyline in half, but take out some of the Harlander stuff, and then it just kind of speeds it up a little bit. Just the pacing's a little bit better for me. Um, but even at the end of his story, like when he animates the monster,
Mhm.
or like he does the lightning strike thing, it doesn't work. He's pissed off, and then he wakes up in the morning, and he's just there. And like this isn't a
Mhm.
pacing issue. It's like it adds an extra minute to the story. It's not a pacing issue, but to me it was just like
Yeah.
another reason. Just like why not just have it work if he's
Mhm.
just gonna be fine the next day.
Yeah. No, that's true. Yeah, it's an interesting decision because even in the original, and like now I'm like the parallels, I'll start mentioning them. Like in the original one, even like it's an interesting choice too, because in the original movie, like it's Victor is with Elizabeth, like that's his
Right.
wife,
Yeah.
and it's their wedding that's gonna happen. And then also like it does work. Like they do, it's like the classic like it's alive. Like that's become like
Right.
the trope that everyone's heard of. But like it worked, and you don't really see the monster to the next day anyway. Like you kind of awake, but like they kind of put him in a room and then they have that interaction. But for this one, yeah, they decided to like, oh, it didn't work, and then we get to have that little miming sequence of being like, oh, like I'm just like you, like look at my hand, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Which yeah, I don't know why they did it that way.
Yeah, I think that you almost that's almost like I don't want to say a tease, but like I kind of want that. I want that like lightning strike
Mhm.
and it comes alive and it's alive. Like that's what you
Yeah.
want from a Frankenstein movie. It's like, yes, I get you change things up a little bit. You don't want to do things exactly the same way as other iterations of it, but like these are like the staples of the myth. Like I wanted to
Mhm.
see that.
Yeah, which is interesting because like now we're in it, we can talk about it. That a lot of the interesting thing about when I was doing the research for the book versus the movie is like a lot of those tropes and those staples. Like I was looking at Mary Shelley's like book, and a lot of that stuff isn't even in the book. Like the whole like it's alive and stuff like that. That's not part of it. And in her book, Frankenstein was never like this tall, lumbering, mute thing. It was always like what we got in this movie, where it's like they brought something to life and then it slowly got smarter and actually became like intelligent and was able to talk and stuff like that. That was like what was in her book. But in the original movie, I guess they just didn't want to do that. So like they were just gonna make them like this tall, like kind of like Hulk character, basically. I'm sure the Hulk was inspired by Frankenstein because he's big and green and kind of barely talks. And it's kind
Yeah.
of just like this monster that's kind of like misunderstood and can't control his rage. I'm 100% sure they probably took inspiration from Frankenstein. But yeah, like I think what he did with this is that he actually leaned more into the actual book, and he was kind of like, what they ended up turning Frankenstein into, I'm gonna have a happy medium of it because we still got that rage monster, but we
Hmm.
also got that intelligent creature that's kind of questioning life and death and stuff like that, which is actually what the book was.
Yeah, and that I actually really liked. Like basically you're talking about the Victor or not Victor, the monster storyline. You know, he lives in the barn, befriends the old man. I really enjoyed that part of the movie. I thought it picked back up. Like I said, it was a little slow. I thought Victor's, but I love the monster story. I thought, you know, watching him learn from the people, develop emotion from those people, from Elizabeth as well. You know, he's helping them with the firewood, fixing fence posts, the whole spirit of the woods thing. Like
Yeah.
watching him learn and grow, I thought was really interesting. To me, that's what the movie is about. Really, is you have this monster made of discarded human remains that learns and embodies humanity and emotion and empathy, and this actual normal, living, breathing human being that lacks all of that in Victor.
Yeah. Yeah, it's that classic theme of like what does it mean to be a human, because like throughout the movie, especially at that stage of the movie, like the whole spirit of the forest or whatever it's called, that when he was like that bond he forms with the blind man, it's just like that blind man can't see him. So like really what it comes down to for a lot of these people is just the way he looks. Like a guy that can't see him, but just going based off how the guy talks and the way he's acting, and it's like, oh yeah, this guy, I like this guy. But anyone like on site when they see him
Yep.
start shooting, which is crazy. Which is really crazy, honestly.
Well, can you blame them though? I mean, he's literally a giant monster.
But I guess, but he doesn't look to shoot on sight though.
Yeah, I guess.
I think I
I
need a
don't know.
little bit more information before I start popping off on somebody.
I mean, they to be fair, they are very unaware. So,
Yeah,
like, how in the hell did this 7 foot monster keep following them around the woods? That was kind of pissing me off. I'm not gonna like when he's. I get like he's hiding away in their barn and they don't go in there. That's like the gears or whatever of their
yeah,
mill. So like as long as it's working, leave the door closed. It's fine,
yeah.
whatever. But then when they're out in the woods and he's like watching the girl, he's watching them collect sticks and all this stuff, and he's really not that far from them, and
No,
the woods are not that thick. And I'm like, how did he leave this barn and follow you guys? And he's following you around, and you're not noticing him. Like this is so. If then they walk in and see this giant monster, they're clearly very unaware, and they're just gonna start shooting.
which is fair. And like honestly, like the situation was rough. It was classic one of those situations where like they walk in and they're like, "Yo, did you kill the old man?" It's like, "Yo, if you
Right?
came in like 5 minutes
Yeah.
before, you would have realized that this
Yeah.
wasn't me." But the scene looked horrible. But I would have been like, "Yo, there's werewolves on the not
Right.
werewolves, but there's wolves on the floor. Like you got to assume something else maybe happened here." But hey, whatever.
Yeah, hey, maybe look in the mirror, guys. Didn't you leave this house to hunt those wolves, and you just let them walk into this building and kill your grandpa? And like, come on, guys! Like, this was the whole reason that you left the building was because of these wolves.
No, for sure. And let's talk about those wolves for a second. Holy crap! Like when they first pulled up, oh my
Those
god,
on those fucking the sheep.
sheep.
Yeah,
Yeah, and even just when the way they were trying to get on Victor, like when he was in the mill, like those guys were fiending for blood. That was
yeah,
insane, man.
yeah. And I mean, but it was even an interesting thing where he's like, the wolves don't hate the sheep,
Yeah,
but it's just the way of life. And that was actually a cool little moment.
quote.
It's not my favorite quote, yeah, but it was definitely in contention where he's like, they don't hate the sheep, and we don't hate the wolves, but people will kill you just for being who you are. So that's kind
Yeah.
of again, that's what he learned from those people, just being who he is. People start shooting at him because, like you say, unfortunate timing that they thought he killed the old man,
Yeah.
even when that was his boy, taught him all that stuff. And like, so seeing him develop all that humanity when Victor's the one that severely lacks it and he's the monster, I thought that was just that like comparison I thought was really cool.
No, 100%. And to go into the gore again,
Mm.
there was one part that made me laugh too, because Eloise pointed out immediately, like when the wolves started attacking him and they weren't doing anything, she's like, damn, like they're not gonna get, like, when are they gonna realize that they can't do anything to this guy and that they need to get the heck out of there? And then he skinned one of them and they immediately bounced. She's like, yeah,
Yeah.
there you go. Now you guys realize what's up. They're like, let's get out of here.
Yeah. That was just to send a message. You were talking earlier in the episode. It's like, man, you didn't need to scalp him. I thought he was just gonna break him. See, that's what he did for the first couple. He's like, okay, I killed him, and then they kept coming on him. He's like, no, they're not learning. All right, let me tell you guys what's up here. Rip the fucking head off, and then the other ones were like, okay, see ya. I'm out of here. Yeah, that's enough of that.
Which killed me because they were coming so strong and they're like, oh, that's what we're dealing with. Let's
Yeah.
get out of here.
Let's
But the
go.
humans didn't get that message. He ripped that dude's jaw off.
Oh my god.
And they kept shooting. I was like, I'm not shooting this thing anymore. It's not working. They kept shooting him. I'm like, I would not want to mess with that.
But I mean, they're assuming that he's going to come after them, so they have to try and defend themselves. But then eventually they give up, and they're just like, "All right, you can just go. Like, please, just leave." Because like, Jesus Christ, yeah, the gore is that, but it's so well done because they're not like super like they're not
Over the
leaning
top.
into it and making it super dramatic. Like they're
Yeah.
just shooting it like a normal, like yeah, it's a fight, but they're not like going crazy shaky cam and like crazy action angles and stuff like that. It's just like, nah, this guy just ripped his face off because he's strong as hell.
Yeah.
And that's just the reality of the situation. And that's almost like more nerve wracking where it's like, it kind of leaves you, it doesn't take you out of the movie and be like, oh yeah, I'm in an action movie. You're just like in the room with this mega strong monster that just ripped a dude's face off. And you're just like, holy shit.
Yeah, and that goes to like Alan's point from like he said earlier, where he's like, I thought the gore in this movie was so interesting because it didn't feel like an over the top thing of like, like you pull dude's head off and blood's just squirting up and it's covering the whole room or anything. It's just like people's heads got ripped off and people got skinned, and it just felt like, yeah, that happened, and then throw it to the side. We didn't like give attention to it and like look at all the blood gushing off of it. It was like it's so intense, and it's like, oh my goodness, that just happened, and we're moving on.
Yeah, which is that's so cool that you could just like by not leaning into it make it more impactful. It's kind of cool, just in theory.
No, for sure. And then that was Alan's point, and I was like, because I didn't really think of it like that, and I was thinking back to all the scenes that we saw, and I was like, yeah, you're right. It almost did feel more gruesome because it just felt like it was matter of fact.
Exactly, matter of fact. That's exactly what I was gonna say. I will say at the end of the monster story, like I was a little bit confused as to like why he was chasing Victor. Like even the boat thing, right? He's chasing Victor, he's killing everybody, like bring him to me. That confused me a little bit because I feel like it was communicated a little bit like if you won't give me peace, because he wants a companion, right? So he's like, I can't die, so I want someone like me so I can at least have some companionship. If you won't give me that and allow me to have peace, then I won't allow you to have peace. And so I'll just keep tracking you down and like hurting you. But after Elizabeth dies, he goes and takes her into this cave, and then he walks away from Victor. So he was leaving him in that sense, and then Victor chases after him. So I'm like, why? Like when we get to the boat, like why is he chasing him? What does he want?
I guess he still wants that. Maybe he was like in that specific moment, he was just like, okay, I'm gonna leave him alone. But then Victor kept pushing, and maybe he got angry, and then he just came to that conclusion. That's just what I came from it. Like I think at that point in the movie, he was still pushing to like, yo, give me someone to be with. Like this is miserable. Like I don't want to. I can't die. Like you can keep trying. That he even like tests him. He's like, yo, give me the dynamite. Yeah, like if this works, then cool. If it's not, I'm still coming
Yeah.
for you because you're not solving my issue. I'm suffering here.
So it's more in like an anger thing. It's like, because I mean, you mentioned, and it's a good point that like it is a good blend that they had of the human side of the monster and like the angry or crazy
Yeah.
Frankenstein monster. So you're saying the ending is kind of leaning more into that, is just that he's angry at this point at Victor and he's chasing him and he wants to, but he doesn't want to kill him because he could have easily killed him. There's a bunch of times he could have killed him and he doesn't.
Yeah, no, it's true. I think it. I don't think he wants to kill him because maybe he's still kind of hoping out that he will create like a companion for him because I think that and this kind of ties into like what the franchise kind of turned into like later on is that like his rage kind of seemed kind of like random, but in this it kind of seems a little justified. You understand his rage a little bit. Like the rage is there
Mm-hmm.
just because of like I don't like maybe he doesn't know his own strength, doesn't know how to control himself, but like everything that he's doing when he shows his rage is targeted like towards an emotion. And I guess he's at this point he doesn't really have like a moral compass. Like he doesn't understand the rules of nature, and like he starts to learn them. Kind of like killing is wrong because if for in his eyes, like what's wrong with killing? Why can't I do these things? Right? Like he kind of is like learning all these things, and now with the rage that he has, it's targeted towards these specific things, and people have been shooting and hurting him. So it probably just kind of goes back. It's like people do this to me. Why can't I do it the other way around? What's wrong with that?
Mm-hmm. Okay. So it's just rage, I guess.
That's what I took it as. I'm not Del Toro, so I can't
Yeah, yeah. No,
specifically
but
say.
that's the discussion. I'm asking your opinion
Yeah,
because
yeah,
I just I thought it was maybe like the peace thing. Like if you're not going to give it to me, then I'm not going to allow it to you. But
yeah.
I don't know. And then then we get the ending really, and he ends up forgiving him. That I didn't love either.
Okay.
I thought it was a little unearned. I think it made sense from Victor's point of view, I think,
Yeah.
where because the monster comes in, he tells his point of view of the story. So Victor was super pissed. He's chasing him, trying to kill him, all this stuff. And then he listened to his story. So now he can kind of understand him a little bit more. He knows now that he's intelligent, which was the whole reason why he hated him, right? He's like, you're so stupid.
Yeah.
This was a mistake. This was a problem. But no, now he knows he's actually intelligent. So he apologized after for being so terrible to him. And
Yeah.
then the monster forgiving him, I guess that's kind of who he is, but I just thought it was like it was a real big 180 in like 2 seconds. I thought that was I don't know. What do you
I
think?
think to me in that moment he realized that he was gone, and I think it ties back to like because we they built we saw the bond that he built with the old man, right? And then the
Mhm.
old man died, so now he kind of holds more of what the old man was saying to heart. And the old man did say the best thing you can do is to forgive and forget.
That's true.
So I think he was just like thinking of the old man in that sense and being like, Elizabeth's death, old man dude is dead, and now Victor's dead. He's like, and the old man was telling me there's no point in holding on to like anger. This guy's about to die anyway, so you just might as well just forgive and forget. It's better for you in the end. So I think that's what was kind of like a callback to that.
Yeah. No, that's a good point and I agree with that. I think the monster makes sense for him to forgive. I think it's more Victor. Just like I get yeah, he heard the story and he's okay, yeah, you're smart. But like not 5 minutes ago you were like, I hate this thing. He's
Yeah.
the worst thing ever, trying to kill him. And then he apologized. I guess it's just by hearing his story, which I suppose is fair.
And like you're about to die, so maybe it's just like
Yeah,
all
that's
your
true too.
pride just goes away. It's just, like you feel
That's true
yourself
too.
dying, so he's probably just like, "What's the point of me just still being a jerk on the way out?"
Yeah, I think you've talked to me into it. It does check. I think it makes sense actually. I think maybe it just happened really quickly. Maybe it was just the
Yeah.
speed of how it happened. Like maybe they have a little bit more of a conversation where he's like still angry at him, like why if you were this smart, why didn't you, make that clear early on, or like like maybe they had a little bit of pushback and then they come to something, but for him to
Mhm.
immediately maybe that's what turned me off to it initially, but after talking it out, it does really make sense. You like the ending?
Yeah, no, I like the ending. I think it's funny because to me it almost kind of felt like it ended like leading off. I don't think it is like there's going to be a sequel, but it almost felt
Mm-hmm.
like it is like because now
Yeah.
he's just like alone. And she's like, all right, well, what's next for him? Kind of thing. You know what I
It's
mean?
a good question. Where do you think? Where does he go from here?
Yeah, I don't know where he goes from here. And I guess that's just for us to just to think about. It definitely is. I don't think it's he set this up as a sequel. Didn't definitely didn't feel that way.
No.
There was no to be continued. That I think that would have been like the big telltale of this is going to be a sequel. But it definitely left me wondering. Like, I wonder where it does go from here. And I do agree to a certain extent, though. It was a little quick.
Yeah, it was a little quick. I think what could have been a fun sequel setup was because he, with the last shot is him like basking in the sunlight, right? Which is what he
Yeah,
did when he like his first day of
yeah,
birth, right? He's scared of the sun, and then he's like, no, this is good, this is life. And then if you like look off onto the sheet of ice, and there's just like an angry mob with pitchforks and torches, and then the movie ends, and you're just like, oh shit, it's not over for him. He's got to
yeah.
fight again. That could have been cute.
Not true. Because then you want. Because then also it leaves the question is like, is he gonna fight them or is he just gonna run away from them? Like, what side of him is this? The guy that's like intellectual and be like, there's no point in me fighting these people, or just like, is he just gonna go back and be down bad and be like, nah, whatever, they can get these hands.
That's what you find out. That's what you find out. Frankenstein 2.
Yeah, Netflix. Yeah, next Netflix release, Frankenstein 2.
Frankenstein 2.
Which is another funny
The
thing too. Oh yeah, go. What's the title?
Yeah, I was just gonna say what's Frankenstein 2, the creature
The
of
Creature's
death.
Revenge. I don't.
I feel like that. Yeah, I feel like that's so easy. The creature's revenge, but like he would have had revenge. This movie is the
Yeah,
revenge. He's trying to
no,
get
that's
revenge
true.
on. So, but I guess it's the direction you take. Like you said, does he go and fight the mob, or does he like talk to him? Maybe it's the creature's demise. Maybe he finds a
Yeah,
companion. The creature's. It doesn't have to be the creatures thing. I don't know. I'm stuck on this creatures thing.
yeah. No.
Frankenstein 2.
The Quest for a Companion. I don't know.
Ooh, there we go. There we go.
Yeah, I don't
We'll go with
know.
that one. Sure. Do you have any more points? What else do you have?
Yeah, this kind of ties into just like it's more. I have a point just on the like. You ever heard of galvanism? Did you
I
ever see
think
that in
this
any of
sounds
your research
familiar.
or anything?
Yeah, I saw
I
the word.
yeah, when I was looking up the movie, there's just like a little thing I thought was interesting, just too, because it ties back into the book and kind of like the lore of the book and just kind of the inspiration of the thing in itself. Like in those times, like in the early, what was it, like the early 1700s, like actually the late
1800s.
1700s. Well, no, this is
Oh,
like
was it
right when
17?
like when it's like right when she was writing the book. So
Okay,
like
okay,
the
okay.
things that were happening in the world at the time, like galvanism, like this idea of like these experiments that were actually happening where they were taking these electrical currents and then just like making limbs move. Like just like of
Mm,
dead limbs. They took frog legs and they put it in these frog legs and they found it to make it move. And that was it wasn't until a little bit later that they actually did an experiment where they took what was it called? I think it was ox heads and sheep heads, and they did the same thing just to the heads, and they actually got the eyes to open and like mouths to open as well. But these things were long dead. It was literally just the heads cut off. So like
damn.
that stuff was actually happening at the time, and then that was a little bit of the spark of inspiration for Mary Shelley to be like, oh snap, like okay, you can these shocks can bring people back to life. And like at the time they it wasn't fully, they weren't saying that maybe we could bring a whole person back to life, but obviously you see that and you're like, okay, I'm gonna play with that and I'm gonna start
Yeah,
making, which I thought was kind of cool because like they still do the demonstration in this movie showing
right.
like that same kind of thing where it's like, oh, okay, this is like the inspiration of from the actual book.
Yeah. Yeah, that is interesting. I guess I mean, at that time, there's so much that we just didn't know about human body,
Oh
science,
yeah,
health, any of that stuff. So, like, the fact that they're like, oh, there's an electrical current that runs through the body, and that's true. I mean, I'm no expert, but I do
yeah,
know that there's electrical current that goes, like, all the neurons firing, all that
yeah,
stuff is there's electricity involved with that. But it makes sense though. Like, if that is what's going on, and then the idea pops in your head, oh, what if you just like took a bunch of body parts and then applied that idea to all of them together and revived a person. Boom.
yeah,
Frankenstein.
exactly. And like at the time too, she just like which is crazy at the times because I was seeing like she wrote the book at 18, which is crazy. And
Oh, damn. Did
yeah,
not
she
know
was
that.
18 years old when she wrote the book. And
Wow.
at that point, she's like, she said that she was thinking about bringing something back to life because she had a baby that died. And I was like, and you were 18. She had a baby at 16 and it died. And then also that was happening at the time. So she was thinking about like, oh, like what if I brought like my baby back to life? And then that
Mm.
became like her thought process of like starting to write that book, which I was like, again, I was crazy, like 18 years old. And she wrote something that 200 years later is still being
Yeah.
talked about.
Yeah. Or they're still making new adaptations of. Yeah, that is pretty crazy. I mean, it sounds crazy to think like, wow, she was 16 and she had a baby and they died, but like at that time I feel like that was super normal.
Oh
Your
yeah,
life
no,
expectancy was
100%.
so much lower than it is
Oh
now.
yeah, definitely. It was just wild to read that when I was like, damn, like especially because something that's had such a big like IP. I was like, damn, she was just 18, just writing a book, thinking of like, oh, it was a fun little thing. Only made 500 copies of it, and she like I didn't
Yeah.
even because at the time too, like women couldn't write books like that. Like they were only really allowed to
Mm.
write like books around like marriage or like being a mother and stuff like that. So like writing like a horror kind of thing wasn't. So she actually wrote it anonymously, and like it was
Mm,
like people
okay.
thought her dad just wrote it because her dad was a writer. So they thought it wasn't until later that they actually came up and be like, oh no, that was actually me. And they're like, oh, that's
Yeah,
hilarious. She
there's a
sucks
lot
now.
of examples of that. Women writing under a pseudonym of
Yeah,
like a male pseudonym often because yeah, it's just even if maybe you're allowed to do it, but maybe just the stigma around it, people be like, "Oh, it's written by a woman. I don't want to read that." You know what I
J.K.
mean? So
Rowling. That's why she's J.K.
there you go.
That's when she wrote the
Yeah.
Harry Potter books. That she made herself J.K. so people wouldn't know that it was, which is crazy because the movie came out. The book came out in the '90s, and people and women were still worried about that.
I mean, it's hey, I don't blame her.
No,
I
for
don't blame
sure.
her. Even today, I wouldn't blame someone for doing that. People
Yeah,
suck.
no, it's true. 100%. I got I got one last point, and this just
Okay.
goes to like the whole what's it called, history of the Frankenstein thing. Because I always thought this was interesting, just in far as like how it Frankenstein had an effect on just like movie history in itself.
Mm,
And tell me if this sounds familiar. It's the classic Universal monster era. I'm sure you've heard of it. The like Universal
sure.
monsters that we were talking about a
Yep.
bit, but 1931 is when Dracula came out, and that was like the first sound era like horror hit because like Nosferatu was a silent film, so like Dracula was the first one with like sound, and then later that same year Frankenstein came out, and Universal was like, okay, we dropped these two massive movies,
Hmm.
banger, which is crazy because we're in this year of Universal dropping like Sinners and then Weapons, so like they're having a good year too. I think they dropped like what's it called
I think they did
Final
F1.
Destination too. And F1. Yeah, they're having a crazy year too.
Once upon a time, or not once, one battle after another.
One battle after another. Yeah. Yeah. Universal's having a good year then too.
Yeah.
But after that, they're like, okay, we got to keep going on this. So the next year in 1932, they dropped The Mummy.
Mm.
And then the year after that, it was The Invisible Man. And then 1935, which is why I was talking about the sequel thing, The Bride of Frankenstein. So then
Ah, okay.
they tapped into like, oh, he needs a companion. So part of me was thinking, I was like, are they going to do the companion? And Maggie Gyllenhaal actually has a movie out coming next year called The Bride, which is The Bride of Frank, but it's
Yep.
not connected because Christian Bale is playing Frankenstein in that. So they're doing their own thing. But it's interesting because it feels like, okay, we just made a Nosferatu movie, Frankenstein's coming out, we got a Bride movie. I'm like, it feels like we're going back into those early things that made Universal popular. Like, let's go back to those Universal monsters. Let's bring them back.
Yeah, the Wolfman, like you mentioned, there's all the I guess I wouldn't say it's not Dracula, but Sinners, like you talked about with
Yeah,
vampires. Like we're very much back in that time. I guess it's like a that was in the 30s, you said. So there it's
yeah,
almost like 100 year cycle, Like if you
no,
think
hundred
about it, that's
percent.
like a generation. I get or a couple generations worth. People kind of like forget about those, not forget about them, but like haven't seen those movies. Like let's do another spin on it. And I mean, yeah, another Frankenstein movie coming out, Christian Bale. I haven't seen there was an early trailer for that. Did you see that?
Yeah, there was an early trailer. Right now, it's just shots of the movie. It's like it's one of those
Yeah.
kind of trailers where it's just like look at all the cool shots. So I don't know
Yeah.
what the story is really saying, but it just looks good. Maggie
We'll
Gyllenhaal,
see.
she's kind of newer to directing, so we'll see how she does with that. But the funny
Yeah.
thing is, like the way it's broken down is broken down in phases where I almost wonder if this is where Marvel got their inspiration from because they all got that, and then when it later came, they're like, okay, now it's time for the sequels. They did Dracula's daughter, they did the Son of Frankenstein, they did the Invisible Man Returns, they did the Wolf Man. And then the next phase after that was the crossovers. So it was Frankenstein meets the Wolf Man. It was Dracula meets Frankenstein, and then it was like So then they all started overlapping, and then they broke it down into phases, like phase 1, phase 2, phase. I'm like, this sounds familiar. Sounds just like
Yeah.
Marvel. It's like we build up the Avengers, we put them together.
Yeah, I mean it's a classic formula that is always going to work. If you create a movie around this character, people love them. You create a different movie around this character, people love them. Be like, all right, let's like Godzilla and Kong. That
Yeah,
you put these. It doesn't always have to be like a monster and fighting, but it's
yeah.
just like you have this character, and if as long as they're in the same kind of realm, it's you're just like, okay, then we're gonna put them against each other or put them with each other. I love both of these characters. I'm so excited to see what they're gonna do together or against each other. It's just a classic formula. It'll always work.
Oh, 100%. And then even they had their phase 4, which was like they tried to expand it and it kind of fell off, and that's kind of what that's kind of what happened with
There
Marvel
you
too.
go.
There's only so
I
long
was gonna say
you can stretch out these phases.
they didn't have a Thanos come in and get all the
They
Infinity Stones. Have to fight do the monster mash, and I don't know.
yeah, maybe. But that was all I had. I thought it was interesting, just the classic. That was one of the reasons I even got into horror too, to be honest. Like just just realizing all these different like characters, and I always kind of looked at it in Marvel in that sense. I'm like, it's kind of cool how we all have like these different guys over here. We got the Mummy over here, Invisible Man, got Frankenstein, Dracula. Like these are like the superheroes basically of like the horror, at least the whole monster horror world. And
Yeah.
I always thought that was kind of cool.
And then the way you laid it out there, like all the parallels to Marvel, damn, that's pretty cool. I mean,
It's
what'll
the
be next
blueprint.
then? Yeah,
Yeah, I
that's
don't
what I'm
know.
saying. What'll be next?
They gotta try another Mummy movie, I guess.
Yeah,
Bring back Brandon Fraser. I don't know. I saw rumors that they're gonna bring, but they might do Mummy 4, but that's not
true.
really.
Actually, I did see that too.
And we'll see how that goes.
Yeah,
But
we'll
that's all
see.
I got though. That's all. I don't know if
So,
you had any other final points.
nope, nothing for me. So that means
So I
it's
guess it's
time to
time.
give out some awards.
It's time. Yes, it's that time of show. It's time for the Filmmies. And if you're new to the show, the Filmmies is part of the show where we give out 6 awards to the movie we just watched. And if we both pick the same award, then it's deemed as certified. But before we get to that, and let's see if that happens, we have our first award, which is our Ferris Bueller Award. So the Ferris Bueller Award is AKA our Lazy Award. It could go to a writer, director, anybody that anybody or anything that happened in the movie that we deemed as lazy. It's all in jest, but something funny we wanted to point out. So Scott, I'm curious to hear who got your Ferris Bueller Award.
I gave my Ferris Bueller to Victor,
Mhm.
and it's for waiting to set everything up until the night of the storm. Like he's like, oh, what's the guy's name?
Harlan?
Harlander. He's like,
Harlander, yeah.
Harlander, we got a storm, and like tonight's the night. He's climbing this building in a thunderstorm. First of all, like if you fall, like you're dead.
dead.
Like the whole
Yeah.
project's just done, and it's raining, and like this is not the time to do this. Sets up the thing, then he comes downstairs. Him and Harlan have this whole fight. Like you could have set this up way in advance. Why are
Yeah.
you doing this the night of? That's is it just procrastination? Like I'll get to it.
Yeah.
To be, I'm gonna assume that that's what it was, which is laziness. So he gets my Ferris Bueller.
That's good. That's a great Ferris Bueller, to be honest. And yeah, it's so dangerous.
So
Like, why
dangerous.
was that? Why did you wait till that night to put that up there? Why couldn't it just always be up there?
That's what I'm saying. Like I get if you like you don't want it to a lightning bolt to strike it and then it comes down into your lab before you're ready and you're standing in the spot and you get electrocuted or whatever. But like the one up top you can leave. The one then on the second floor or whatever, and then there's like a mechanism that brings it into the middle of the room. So you could like install that and just leave it off to the side. You know what I'm saying? Like why especially the one on like the very top.
Yeah.
That is just
No,
that's
insane.
just grossly misplanned, or that's just lazy. It's lazy.
That's great. No, that's a great Ferris. I'm not bad. that's perfect. I honestly wish I gave it to him for that. I did give it to Victor, but I gave
Okay.
it to him for another reason. It's a very small, stupid reason, which also has Harlan in it. And then I also
Nice.
have I had an honorary one that I want to point out, which is just like a stupid joke I wanted to make.
Okay,
So
solid.
the first one I gave to Victor because there was a scene we got with Harlan, or Harlander, sorry. And then when they're just talking like at the party or whatever, and they're like in the bathroom. I don't know if you remember that scene.
Yep, yep.
And Harlander's taking a piss, and he's just like what would you say, French porcelain. He's like the chimes of of a man or whatever, which is a funny line. And then afterwards, like he says all he has to say, and then he says, "Hey, can you flush for me?" And he walks out, and Victor just doesn't flush.
He doesn't flush.
Doesn't flush. So I gave him a lazy award just for not flushing. I'm like, it takes 2 seconds. I'm sure it was a little condescending for another man to tell you to flush for him.
Yeah, that's tough.
This guy's paying for all your stuff, though. The least you could do, I would have been like, he's paying for all my stuff. I can flush. No one's around, too. I think so it's not like,
true.
if he's in front of people, flush for me. Then I'd be like, yeah, fuck no. I'm not letting you demean me like that in front of everybody like that. Yeah, no one was around.
Yeah, that is a good point that no one's around. Because I was saying it's like a rebellious thing, right? Because this is when they're at odds, right? He's like, see, my resources are unending, but my patience isn't. And he's kind of like, he's sunning him in this moment, right? He's like, yeah, I got the money. This is all my project. Flush that toilet for me, will you, little boy? And you're right. If people are there, not a chance I'm doing that. But it was more the rebellious thing because he looks back at the toilet.
Yeah, he does.
He's just like, I'm not flushing that toilet, man. Screw that. I don't blame him. I'm not flushing the toilet. Fuck you.
Yeah. That was just like a funny thing where I was just like, at that point, I was like, I don't know what my face is going to be. So I gave that to him.
I like it. I still like it.
My other one, which was almost my fairest, but I was like, this is going to be more of an honorary, was I gave it to the blind man.
Wow. Okay.
And it was more so just for, I mean, he's blind. So
yeah, I know.
In my imagination, he just didn't do the due diligence to check up. Because how the heck did the wolves get in the house?
I was thinking the same thing. Yeah. Like there's no latch on the door. Like they just pushed it open. How did that happen?
I don't know. And my stupid thing, I was saying, it goes to the blind man for opening the door to the wolves because he didn't know the stories of the 3 little pigs. Like you don't answer the door for the pigs.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I mean you have. Because, I mean, if someone knocks on the door and says, hey, it's me, then it's a human being. If you hear knocking on the door and you go and it's just, roo, 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 like, you're not answering the door. You know what that is.
I really wonder how they did get in the house, though. Did they just bust the door down?
Maybe.
Why did they want smoke with them so much? Like, I thought they just wanted sheep.
Yeah, that is a good question. Well,
wolves don't want to eat humans.
Well, it's food. I mean, they would have eaten them, I'm sure. What I will say is when the monster's in the barn or whatever, when the wolves come the first time, they're trying real hard to break that door down, and they probably would have if the guy didn't shoot him. So maybe there was just persistence.
Yeah, which is why this wasn't I ended up being my fairest. I went with the flush.
I actually had an almost, or I guess honorable mention was I almost gave it to the model when Harlander's taking a picture and she's holding the peach, and he's like, "Turn the peach." You took a bite out of it. What are you doing? Like, you're modeling for a picture. Wait 2 seconds, and then eat the peach. It's not really lazy, so I was like, I'll go with the other one. But
something to point out. Yeah. No, that one was weird. I don't know why. Like, why? Like, why? Or also, why? She could eat something before the shoot, before you're not eating the things on sets. Like, that's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
You could have given it to her. Laziness for not waiting.
Yeah. That's why if I had that written down, and then if I didn't see anything else, that would have ended up being my lazy. But I thought Victor's was worse just for setting everything up at the last minute.
No, that's a good phrase. Our next one is self-explanatory award. It's the fit check. So who gets your fit check in this? I kind of teased mine earlier.
Yeah, you and Eloise have the same. Maybe it's the same as mine. I gave it to Victor's mom.
Okay.
When he's young and you were learning about his childhood, she got on like a striped red dress, which was, I mean, her and Elizabeth have like the craziest fits in this movie.
It's Mia Goth just doing double duty.
True. Wait, is that Mia Goth as his mom?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, really?
Yeah, that's why I thought it was kind of gross that he was attracted to her. I'm like, this feels like kind of like Back to the Future-esque, man. Like, don't be getting the hots for your mom, you know.
I did not notice that was Mia Goth as his mom too. Damn. Okay. Well, she's getting some crazy fits off then in this movie. But yeah, I gave it to her. But it's the red dress and it's the massive veil. Like
Oh yeah.
she comes outside and she's on the steps when his dad comes home. It's like 40 feet long. I'm like, this is insane. It's sick. It's sick.
Yeah, no, it is. She was getting some crazy fits off, and part of us was wondering too, like, was that Mia Goth? It 100% was, and she's known. I was saying to Ali's like, she's known for playing double characters. She did that in X. She played two characters, but this one was just so subtle. Like she played a mom for like 2 seconds. I don't know. I guess they didn't want to hire somebody else to play a mom for such a short amount of time. I guess.
Yeah, it's a small. Yeah, for sure, it's a small role. I guess I just didn't even notice. I just didn't look that close.
She did look a little
would
different.
they do that though?
I don't
That-
know. Because
Wait, so that's
to me
weird
that makes
for
it
both of them, then.
gross. Huh?
Yeah, because that's William's fiance, and Victor was into her.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So, like they're both
Fucking
into their mom
weirdos.
like that.
Yeah, what the hell? I mean, actually, in William's defense, she died at childbirth, so he never really saw her.
Oh, okay, that's fair.
So that's not his fault. But Victor,
Yeah.
you're a weirdo.
Okay, no, that's fair. I thought you were gonna say in his defense, it does look like Mia Goth. So I was like, I mean, I don't think that makes
No, that doesn't change anything.
No, it's still your mom. It doesn't make her any better
Yeah.
or worse.
No.
I did go with Elizabeth also, but it wasn't for that fit. It was for the first time, as we're talking about Victor and him being gross. The first time Victor saw her and like meets her, and she's in that full length like blue gown. And it was kind of this scene was kind of set up for us to like even be like, hey, the film guy is watching because like look at this fit. It's like she's holding a skull and like she slowly turns around and then we get a full shot of the outfit. It's like in the fitted corset and like the transparent kind of like sleeves. And then the really thing to me, which was like, hey, look at me, is the what's it called? The blue feathered headpiece. Like it's such like a perfect like framing of like, yo, check this fit out.
Yeah.
I was like, that's pretty fire.
It is. Like that was definitely an honorable mention for me. You're right. It's the two feather things on the side.
Yeah.
It's hard as hell. So good. So sick.
Honestly, she didn't have a lazy fit in the movie, to be honest.
No, she always looking fresh. Always.
Like it must have taken her a long time to get ready in the morning.
Yeah, not as long as Jacob Elordi. Heard it took him 10 hours in makeup.
Yeah. That's insane, man. It's funny because like we hear these things when they just throw them out there, or it's like Drax taking 8 hours. But like when you really think about it, I'm like 10 hours sitting in a chair.
Yep.
Is insane.
That's before you even start acting.
Yeah.
So like if you like I read he went into the makeup chair at 10 p.m. so they could do it all night so that in the morning he'd be ready to like work. So that's more if you think of like an 8-hour shift, a regular work day. Add 2 hours onto that. I mean, you're just kind of lying there, I guess, while they're doing it, but still you got to be like awake, I guess. Maybe I mean, I guess
like,
you
can
can
he sleep?
Yeah, but would you really be getting any good sleep?
Yeah, I know people are like touching your body.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Yeah, I wonder if like the being tired it plays into your performance because there's no way you're sleeping properly. So like he's just being like that's just him being tired.
Victor, Victor. Yeah, it depends on the role. I mean, for this one it works. You're right, but like you said, Drax and like you got to be ready to like start jumping and doing action.
No, that's true.
Can't be tired.
100%. Yeah, they hired Batiste. They want you to do some action. That's true. Yeah. Anyway, great fits. We both Elizabeth. She went all out in this.
It had to be her.
Her. Yeah. Is one of her fits. Next award we have is the best quote. So what was your best quote?
I gave it to William. He says this to Victor. He says, Victor, did you ever ask yourself, of all the parts that make that man, which part holds the soul? And I like that quote, a lot of it because of Victor's answer when he just says no. But that really shows like who he is. You know, I talked about, I think the movie is about the monster having the humanity and the human not having it. So I think, you know, just William, he even mentions like right as he's dying, right? He's like, you've been the monster. You were always the monster, right? He's the bad guy. And Elizabeth is always going against him too, saying the same thing. She's showing empathy toward the creature. So I think it totally encapsulates what everybody around him has been thinking the whole movie. Like, what about the ethics and the humanity of what you're doing? You're reanimating a person that becomes a human being. Like, kind of, is he a
Mm,
human being? Like, he's a
yeah.
creature, but like, just think about the soul of a person. Which part is it? That's a good question. I mean,
Yeah.
does your soul come from a specific part of your body, like the brain? Or,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, but I thought it was a good question, and it interested me, made me think. It was thought provoking, so it was my favorite.
No, it's a great quote. And because, yeah, you really wonder too, because he's even thinking about like the process of like getting the brain. And I'm like, at the end of the day, did the brain even matter? Because it felt like he came out as just an infant anyway.
Yeah,
So if you
yeah,
take the brain of an intelligent man, would it change? Would have been smarter? Like, would he not have just still been acting like a person that's never experienced anything? Because that's what he was, and then he had to get
yeah.
smarter over time. So like, it almost felt like the brain didn't even matter. Like, did any of those pieces really matter? And like that, yeah, it is a good question. It makes you wonder. I'm like, what is the explanation for what really gives him like the soul?
I mean, the brain, you physically need it, right, to be
Yeah,
able to function, breathing and moving body parts and making decisions and stuff like that. But like, it's a good question of like, depending on, like, doesn't matter whose brain you take. Like, I don't think the memories come from that.
yeah,
He did say, though, the creature does say like he has dreams where like they're in bits and pieces. So maybe every body part that he has like some level of
mm,
conscious from that person,
yeah,
because he's getting snippets of these dreams. Maybe they're like snippets of memories from the people that make up now his body. I don't know.
yeah.
Interesting
That would have been interesting. That'd be interesting. Way like interesting thing to like to play
to
on, like it,
explore.
yeah, to
Yeah.
explore. Yeah, like if anyone well, if anyone ever does another Frankenstein movie, there will be another Frankenstein movie,
Yeah.
whether it's another 5 years from now. But that would be interesting to be like, yeah, he's dealing with all the different pieces of him. That in itself could just be its own thing. That'd be
Mm.
interesting. That's an
There's
interesting
our
point.
idea. We got our idea. Next
Yeah,
first
clip
film
it.
room production,
Yeah,
Frankenstein.
exactly. Clip it.
Clip it, chat.
um no, that's a great quote though, because yeah, like I said, we just thought of our first movie, so
There you
that's
go.
a great quote.
Perfect.
Or
What's yours?
one of our productions.
True.
um
We got a laundry list.
yeah, exactly. Mine goes to the creature, and this one's not as thought provoking. It was just kind of it was a hard quote. This
Mm.
is when
Those are always
he's
good.
just when he's at his um peak self, I guess. Well, I shouldn't say peak, but at least peak in the movie, because he's got time to grow. He can keep growing. But
True.
when he's fully talking, he's messing with Victor, and he said, "You may be my creator, but from this day forward, I am your master." That
Mm.
was
That was
that
tough.
was tough. And he freaking broke his nose.
Oh my god, just ripped it off. He just
Yeah.
like pushed it until it just like fell off of his face. That was, oh my god, that
Oh
was
yeah,
tough.
it was
Was like God
nasty.
is choking him against the
Yeah.
brick of the stone wall. See, but that goes to my question of like, why is he doing it just like, I'm your master so I can control you, just because you're not doing what I want you to do, so I'm just going to make your life a living hell, and I'm going to run
Mhm.
your life? Is that what it was? Like, I mean, we, like you said, we don't necessarily even have to dive that deep into the quote itself. It's just a hard bar, but it's just a question I had.
No, it's a good question, because you wonder, is like, is this him just going through the emotions? And one of the emotions that he's going through is revenge. He's like, let me do this revenge thing. Like, maybe read it. I don't remember if revenge was talked about previously with him and the old man, or if he talked about reading in a book, but maybe just like, is revenge like a path that feels good? Let me try the revenge angle. And he went through
Mm.
the whole revenge thing, and it didn't do it for anything for him in the end. So then he tried the forgive and forget thing. And maybe that's what that was. He went from the revenge thing, and it's like, our revenge doesn't do anything, so let me just go the forgive and forget
Mm.
route. So I don't
So
know.
maybe he wanted, the whole time pursuing Victor was to say, deliver him to me so I can make peace with him.
Maybe.
Maybe that's what it was.
Yeah. I don't know.
I don't know.
Next award we have is our six man, aka our Braden Pritchard Award. And this is an award goes out to someone who showed out in their small role in the movie. And I'm curious to hear who got your six man.
I give it to the old man.
Mm,
I think, like I said, I like that part of the movie where we're seeing the creature learn academically learn to talk and read and all that stuff, and learning empathy, emotion, feelings. So that he taught him to speak and all that stuff. He knew he was hiding in the barn the whole time.
yeah,
He mentioned that. He's like, "Oh, you've been chilling in there, huh?" He thought he was a soldier. He's like, "Oh, you scarred and you're wearing a uniform. I
yeah,
guess you were part of the war." That was an interesting little nugget, and he was just a helpful and nice guy.
yeah. No, he was
I gave him my
awesome.
6 man.
Yeah, it was tough when he died. I didn't like it. It was not that I should have liked it, but it was it was a part of the movie that I was like, damn, man.
They got
Nah.
him.
Like when I saw the door open, I saw the was like, nah, they got Pops, yeah.
I
No
know,
way they
man.
got him, man. I was like, they got him. I was like,
It's
ah,
kind of on him for opening the door, as you
yeah.
mentioned, but
It's kind of wild
damn.
that they left their blind old grandfather. I don't know what the relationship was. Why would you leave him alone?
I mean, he did like they fought back. It's not like they were just like, "All right, see ya." They were like, "No, like I'm bringing them to the city. Come with us." And he's like,
Yeah.
"Nope. I pray in the winter every year, and
Yeah, I
it's
guess
not going to
that's true.
change this year." And they're like, "You should be coming with us, man. This is a
Yeah.
dangerous place." And he's like, "Nope, not going to do it." Like, what were the logistics of that? How was he going to feed himself
Yeah.
and dress
Yeah,
himself and
I
like all
don't
that?
know.
How did how does that work?
I don't know. It's a good question. That is a very good question. I was thinking the same
I don't
thing
know.
too because he didn't seem like he was incapable of doing anything. But I don't know, man.
No, but I
That
mean,
was
like,
tough.
living on your own blind has got to be tough. I mean, I guess it's people do it and you figure it out, but when you're an old man too, that changes. And in
Oh,
1800s, like
100%.
it's not like you can order stuff to your house, and you know what I mean. Like that's tough.
No, 100%. At least one person could have stayed with him. I don't know, but hey,
Yeah.
R.I.P. R.I.P. Blind Man.
R.I.P. Shout out to
I
that
don't think he
guy.
had a
He
name. I think he was just
No, I
Blind
don't think
Man.
so either. Yeah, they called him like Grandpa, right? There was the
Yeah.
little girl that I think she just called him Grandpa. He's Grandpa.
Damn, man. Didn't even get a name. R.I.P. Uh,
R.I.P.
my 6 man went to Kate Howley. I'm sure you know who that is.
That's my girl. Yeah, hell yeah. Love Kate Howley.
No, she's the costume designer. So like literally, I was like
Nice.
just off Mia Goth's because there was a lot of good outfits. Even like Victor had some nice fits too, but just for Mia Goth's outfits alone, she
Oh yeah,
deserves. Her name needed to be said because she put these crazy fits together. And so I say your name, Kate Howley.
Kate Howley.
If we're
That's
saying, I hope I'm
yeah.
saying your name right, but your film me
Hey,
will be in the in the
expect it.
mail
three
soon
to five
enough.
business days.
Yeah,
Don't
three to
worry.
five business days. Yeah.
But
The
that's a great pick, honestly. Like there's like we talk about her fit check. She any of her fits could have won that award
yeah,
because they were all insane. And you're right. Outside of her, there was a few solid ones too. Most people were just like servants in uniform, but like Victor had some solid ones. William at his wedding night looked pretty fresh.
true. Yeah, no, 100%. Eloise even mentioned too that I got Kate. She didn't put this in her family meeting thing, but she also mentioned the the fact that Mia Goth's character Elizabeth, sorry, was matching all the things to the Beetle, and then even on her wedding night, oh, I like that little subtle thing that they did. Like I don't know if you noticed her wedding dress, she had wraps on her arms, and also like to
Oh,
symbolize
the
like
bride,
Frankenstein, yeah,
the bride. Yeah,
the bride, and just yeah, because like when she met him, the creature, he had the wrap, so that was definitely
mm,
intentional. Of like my wedding dress is gonna have like this kind of wrappy kind of look to it.
that's tough on you. Your wedding night, marrying another man, and you're gonna wear something that reminds you of a different guy.
I know it is.
Yeesh.
It is pretty
Poor
tough.
William. Also, her hair was like 8 feet long.
Oh yeah,
Crazy.
it was crazy long. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what that was, but hey, but yeah, no, I had to give her some love because yeah, she was a big part of the movie with that in her like
Yeah,
small role, as we
good
say.
pick. Good pick.
Two more awards. The second last one we have is best scene. So, what was your favorite scene from the movie?
I give it to Victor's hearing, like showing
Hmm.
the professors the reanimation. I thought Oscar Isaac was really great in this scene. I thought like the character Victor's charisma was off the charts. He got the whole room animated. I mean, I guess your charisma doesn't never necessarily have to be great for that to happen. You're bringing a broken dead human to life. Like that's enough
Yeah,
to probably get people hooting and hollering, but like even just his little joke when he like, you now release the ball, please. Please
Yeah.
always helps. And like just
Yeah.
little stuff like that. Um Harlander comes in as well, and he has the cane like with a weird bone or something on top, and like
Mm,
we kind of then the camera shifts up and we see it's Christoph Waltz. So I'm like, okay, this is obviously a major character.
yeah.
He comes in like with this weird or he's dressed to the nines, so I'm like, okay, he is obviously rich, and we didn't know what the dynamic was going to be, or I didn't anyways, not having read the book or anything. So I was like, a little element of mystery, like who is this guy?
Mm,
He comes in late, right as he's starting this thing, and just the thing like catching the ball was
yeah.
like, I was like, this is crazy. Like this is so, I know this is a movie and this is real, but like just seeing this happen, he's bringing this thing to life, and it just catches the
Yeah.
ball and draws. I was like, this is cool, but also kind of creepy. I was just like really feeling like the all the elements of this scene coming together. It worked for me. I liked it.
No, it was a great scene, and that was in the contention for one of my scenes. I didn't end up going with that, but like it's funny too because the reaction, like you were expecting, like okay, what's everyone's reaction gonna be? Like he's actually doing the thing, and they're just like they just weren't having it. They're like, this is
Mm.
blasphemy. Like, nah, this is crazy. I'm like, you guys seeing like he did it? Like, there's no like there's no curtain. This isn't on a stage or anything. Like, there's nothing behind. Like, this literally just happened in your face, and everyone's just like, nah, we're not accepting this. I'm just like, damn, all right.
Yeah, like they
Uh,
come down. This is an abomination. This is terrible. So like that, even that dynamic of him having to fight those three, like the judges or whoever they
Yeah.
are, where the rest of the room is like laughing at his jokes and like into what he's doing. So I thought the dynamic was, because I didn't know obviously where the rest of the movie was going, if he's going to be the
Mhm.
villain, and most people are going to be like, no, what you're doing is wrong. They could have taken the movie could have gone in the direction of more the side of the crowd where people are like, this is insane, this is crazy, like keep
Yeah.
it going, so like at this point in the movie when the scene happens, it opens up those possibilities, and it just had my mind racing. I liked it.
Yeah, no, I did too, and like, and that's why it had me also too, because I figured this movie would be on its own thing. I was had the like other previous projects in my mind, but like this is probably gonna be its own thing, so I'm not gonna have any expectations. And my expectation after this scene was like, okay, I guess at least the way I saw it, I was like, okay, I guess we're rooting with this guy. Like we're with this guy
Mm-hmm.
because everyone doesn't believe in him. So it's like that classic story of like, nah, they don't believe in him. So like he's gonna make it work. So you're like, okay, let me see if I should rock with him. But it's very soon that you realize like, oh no, this guy's garbage.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not long
Like,
after. That's true.
yeah, like I don't want to root for this guy anymore. Never mind.
Yeah.
He's a little crazy. But no, that's a great scene. Again, like I said, that was in contention for one of my scenes. What I ended up going with was the opening scene. We talked about it in length,
Mm.
and just because to me it was just like starting the movie with such a huge punch and setting the tone. Because I didn't know what to expect from this movie. I saw the trailers, but even in the trailers I saw, I think I saw more teaser trailers, so I didn't really see. I especially didn't see the strength of Frankenstein. I don't know if you saw that in any of your trailers. Like I don't know if you realized he could push a boat or any of that stuff like that.
No. I think you see him throw a guy overboard in one of the trailers, but not like,
Okay.
but in a way that like, yeah, he's strong, but he's not like, yeah, moving a boat, breaking chains strong.
Yeah, and to me, it's such an impactful. We talked about a couple of reasons why we thought it was a good opening, but just the intensity of it, and it just kind of being like a bait and switch of like, okay, like we know that like we see him how strong he is, we see him talk, and we're like, well, this is a Frankenstein movie, like we're gonna have to see him get made, right? So like this, what's going on here? Like why are we already starting and he's already talking and like in full sentences and he's throwing people. So I like that beginning because I was like, okay, like what's going on here? And then we get thrown to the into like the past. We're like now we're building up to it. So I was like, okay, now I need to know how the heck we even got here. So I thought it was a good intro for that reason.
Yeah, it definitely was. And even just like we've already talked about, like the action and the gore, like when he's just breaking people's arms, when he like
Yeah.
punches that dude's head off, and he like slowly like does like a backflip onto his
Oh,
like decapitated neck and like folds. I was like, Jesus Christ. So that right from the beginning, it just grabs you. And like you said, mentions he can talk, he's strong. how do we get here? Why is
Yeah.
he chasing after Victor? We just need to know, why were they even out here? You know,
Mhm.
there's an explosion. How did that happen? Like, we just so it asks so many questions that we're gonna get the answers to. So it just fills you with excitement right away. And like I said, I was not expecting to see the monster in the first scene of the movie.
Yeah, me neither. So I thought that's why it worked so well as a strong opener because it's like, oh, this
Yeah,
was not what I expected.
that was in contention for me too. It was great. It was started hot.
Yeah, it did. Which is probably why it led to where maybe you were like, oh, this is gonna kind of slow because we started off so hot where it's just like,
True.
and now
Yeah.
we're coming back down, and then they have to bring us back up. But what was our final and last award we have is our MVP. So I'm curious to who gets your MVP for the movie.
Jacob Elordi gets my
Mhm.
MVP for this movie. This is a tough role. This is
Yeah,
like you got to play, you got to start with like the innocence and confusion of being born yesterday, literally, and not knowing anything about the world or who you are or what you are or anything like that. And then turn that into power and understanding of who you are, understanding of the world. Like I said, seeing him like grow and learn all that stuff, I thought was a great arc for his character, and his performance was just right every step of the way, I think.
yeah,
um, I thought that his roar was sick. Obviously, it's been enhanced,
yeah,
but like when he's
yeah,
on the ice and he yells, or whenever he yells for whatever reason, when he's down in the basement and then the fire's going and he's yelling Victor, I
yeah.
thought his roar was really good. Like I said, the 10 hours makeup he went over all night just to so he could start in the morning.
Hmm.
Props to you just for the commitment for that. I thought he was great in this role.
No, I agree. And like I don't know how much he did for I only know about like the one scene, like the initial scene he had with Mia Goth, like when she first saw him and they were like kind of doing like the whole like she like revealed like her face and everything like that.
Mm,
Like obviously they had the script and they knew what was gonna happen. Like, oh, you're gonna do this, you take off the glove and whatever. But like apparently they didn't rehearse that. Like they just went into it and she was like, "Okay, I'm just going to see how he plays this monster bit." And she said how great it was. She's like, "Man, he was doing such a great job. I was kind of just like playing off of him cuz you get lost in it. Like I'm not even like I know that actor, but I'm not even thinking of him like, "Oh, he's doing such a great job here." I'm just like this guy is just it's just he's a monster. He's just like the
yeah.
way he's moving, the subtle movements, like it's like a person doing. It's not like a they're animating this movement. Like this guy is just doing these movements, these subtle like sounds, the way he's moving his head and everything, the way he's just like so confused by things. Like you really think he's really seeing all these things for the first time.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that was a big, you're right, the body movements was a big one too, cuz he's like learning to walk even right away, right? And how to
Yeah,
do, and then you see him slowly get more comfortable with it. And the facial expressions I think was a really big one, just like in
yeah,
the confusion. And then when he's with her and she, like, he gives her that leaf, and then she kind of shows that empathy towards him, so he kind of like starts to understand, feels maybe some connection with her, some emotion too. And then when he becomes fully developed and he has this confrontation with Victor, and he's still not exactly just like a full human, just like talking in full sense, like, no, I want you to make me a cup. He's still kind of like, you could still see like a little bit of innocence in there,
yeah,
just through the performance of like, I just want a companion. Like, I can't die.
yeah.
I just like, I can't die. Like, I just need something. Like,
No, for
please, like
sure.
just that empathy, that emotion, that innocence. It was very nuanced, hard role, and
Oh
he
yeah.
killed it.
No, yeah, 100%. I 100% agree. He really did kill that, and like he was in my contention too. It was tough for me to pick the MVP. It was really just between two people. I'm sure you probably know who probably the other person was that you can even really debate. And it ended up giving it to Guillermo del Toro,
Okay, nice.
and it was just I think I with me like I feel from this conversation it feels like you've turned a little bit because you said it was okay, and now as we've talked about I think you it sounds like you liked it a little more than maybe initially before the we
Well,
started talking about it.
yeah, no, I think that is true. I think there is some stuff that, having talked it through, like, I can appreciate a little bit more. I still wouldn't say like I loved it.
Yeah,
I still think there are some things, like I said, like the Harlander story, I still think was really
that's fair.
underdeveloped
Yeah.
or overdeveloped. Like either you need a little bit more or a little bit less.
Mhm.
Um, but there, I mean, I did say like there's some stuff that I really like, some stuff that I didn't like, and that's still true.
Yeah, which is fair. But for on my side, I I was saying how much I really enjoyed it because again, I liked the tone, I liked the visual aesthetic of the movie, I liked the story structure. I like I like his own personal take that he added to the original and the book. I was saying how it's like it's a blend of that monster that it's not just the silent mute that's rage. Like you do have that, but you also have like the intellectual part that was kind of in the book, and he kind of blended that the whole like father son dynamic that was also like more of his personal thing because he was saying like because like how he's a father and stuff because that wasn't really a dynamic that I've seen like in anything where it kind of especially at the end kind of felt like that where
Yeah.
that felt like a father and a son kind of talking to each other like I've never really seen that and I kind of like that aspect of it and even Elizabeth never really had that much of a role before like she was more scared of the monster like in the ones I've seen so so see her like be kind of like sympathetic towards him was another take that I thought was interesting too. So like I like what he did with the movie. Like he really made it its own and I didn't think I think he blended enough of what everyone kind of knows it for, but also put his own nuance on it that it just made it really enjoyable. And I really liked it. I kind of wish I
Hmm.
saw it in the theaters to be honest.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I was
I
gonna
still
say maybe
can.
you still can. Oh,
I
can
think
you?
I still can. I think I still can. I maybe I can find some probably some like not Cineplex, maybe some like some local because there's all those little
Oh
small
yeah.
theaters that play
Yeah, yeah.
movies. I'm sure they still have a copy or something.
Yeah, I agree with you in a lot of the. I think he made a lot of good decisions
Mhm.
as far as where to go with characters, what to do story wise. I think the action. I don't know how involved he was. I mean, he directed it, but I
Yeah.
don't know if like he has a specific action director that kind of
Mhm.
took more of the lead there. But it's still ultimately his decision on like how he wants the feel of the action to be. We talked about how like it's just shot matter of factly,
Yeah.
and that is ultimately his decision, which was really good. I think your components of what he took from the story and what he made a little bit different. I agree with all that stuff. I think he wrote it too, right?
Yeah, he did.
See, that's where like I think the writing maybe I had a few issues with,
Mhm.
but direction was great, feel was great. I agree with you in all those aspects.
Yeah, no, and that's fair. I hear your point because, like, I totally agree on that Harlan part. I didn't really think about it because maybe I was just too. Sometimes when you watch a movie, then you like really like it, then maybe you'll focus a little bit more one way. But as we're talking to him, like,
Hmm.
yeah, that part definitely could have. Again doesn't ruin it for me. Where suddenly it's like, yeah, maybe I don't like this movie as much, but more so like, yeah, I think that definitely could have been an improvement if that Harlander part was either less or more to it. I think definitely could have
Right.
been an improvement to it. I definitely agree with that.
Yeah. Well, and like I said, it's just. I mean, with every movie, there's stuff you like and stuff you don't like,
Yeah, no, exactly.
and it's I would say that there's more good than bad in this movie, though. Like
Yeah.
it's a good movie.
Okay.
I still
Yeah.
overall I enjoyed it. It was good.
Yeah, I was good. I'm glad to hear it.
Well, there it is. No
No certifieds.
certifieds.
Yeah.
I'm kind of surprised. I don't know when I said Jacob Elordi, and then you were like, "Oh, and this and this and this."
Yeah.
I thought you were building towards a certified there.
It was close though. I almost had him.
Hmm. Oh well, no certifieds this week. That's okay. That's gonna do it for us, everybody. Thank you so much for listening. We hope you enjoyed the episode. If you did, we would very much appreciate a review. If you leave a written review, we'll shut you out on the pod, guaranteed. If you can't do a written or you don't want to, I suppose that's okay. But a 5-star really helps us out. We very much appreciate that. 5 of them. Be sure to check us out on Instagram, TikTok, if you want to be in the family meeting at the Film Room Pod. We're on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Film Room Podcast. Search us up. We will see you next week for another banger. Dion, take it away.
And remember, French porcelain chimes to a man's stream.
It sure does.
Peace out.
Peace out.